robin competition as it's always been. Bazooka Puppiez out the gate first. Des, what are these compositions looking like to you? Because we need to get a grasp on this meta quite quickly.
Nothing too super surprising, actually. Bazooka Puppiez rolling out with the comp that we've heard so many teams start speaking about. It's basically goats, but you swap out the Reinhardt for the Winston. It gives you more vertical mobility. It gives you threat into the back line. The problem is that comp hard loses against goats, which is what HSL is rolling out with. So HSL realistically in these first couple of fights should have the advantage.
I don't think so. Main tank obviously being pivotal to that goats composition, and Progi, one of the star players of the team, has managed to get themselves on that. Playing a little bit stagnated around the point, but it's Bazooka Puppiez who have positional advantage, but those health bars are starting to look a little bit low, so need some reinforcements from their supports to keep everyone alive. HSL pushing onto the point now that it's unlocked to keep that contested.
They've got to try and find a way to push through and get into the back line of this goats comp, because HSL will just brute force their way onto the point like they've done now. They've got the free cap there despite no members going down, and finally they get the pick out onto Crandop. It was only a matter of time.
First blood of Contender Season 3 goes over to a Lucio player. That's what I like to see to kick things off. Ashcroft coming in there with that first kill, and Crandop using a shatter to what appears to be no effect. Oh no, it's changed over. What am I saying?
I was going to say, what shatter are you on about, mate?
What am I saying? I don't know, you point at the screen, it says 0%. I'm like, oh, it's just the shatter. Oh, it's
but
the change.
Let's think about it. In our prep for the series, it didn't happen earlier on. We did say that the key thing that's going to happen during Season 3 is you will see a lot of one hero changes, which completely change the dynamic of a comp. That's exactly what you see out of Puppies here. They've dropped the Winston, they've sacrificed the mobility because they don't need it. What they need is a front line that can compete against Progi, so Crandop's had to go into the Ryan as well. We're now into a mirror matchup, but 40% has already gone the other way.
Sarv channeling is in a headbound of power to take out Hadan in a little bit of robot combat happening. Tech36 answers him with a kill with the self-destruct as Cave and Track come in. Zyke going to be taken out by Crandop, all the other way around if you're reading the kill feed correctly. It looks like it's going to be HSL still in control of the point as they're pushing Bazooka Puppiez back into the spawn, but look who has that ult advantage. It's the dogs.
That was kind of a case of not capitalizing on an advantage it felt for Puppies there, because Sardis popped out his ultimate with the rally. He was immediately killed. They completely wasted the rally and it's gone now. But they've still got two defensive ultimates online, but looking at Puppies, they've got an almost full green bar here, that lovely blue, green color coming through for Contenders. 5 ultimates on side. This should be their fight to win.
Progi has the shatter available. There's the Graviton Surge to kick things off. Transcendence to soak up all of the damage. Hadan keeping him alive. He can't heal through a self-destruct. Is Meta going to take out Progi? They answer with their own self-destruct, but can't capitalize it. They drop the sound barrier from Cave to keep everyone alive as Track draws that first blood. Cracks gets the D-neck on the Tech36, and they're going to kill that little diva that popped out from inside. 94%, it switches over to the Puppies.
Already it's looking a little bit scrappy on both sides. Ultimates being burnt where they don't really need to be used. Zeke there burnt out the Graviton Surge when he'd already lost his main tank. The chance of you turning that fight back around onto a Puppy side that you know has got at least 4 ultimates online, it's an absolute waste, and now they've got to wait to build that back up before they go for a big combo. Puppies meanwhile have got 2 ultimates online. Huge shatter!
Crown job going in, and the rest of the team is just going to follow up. 1 ult committed, and they're going to wipe them all out and make them try it all over again. Ult advantage, however, now in favor of HSL.
Looking a bit cleaner now as well. Just 1 ult being used in that fight to close it one out. Admittedly, a very good one as well. Great positioning and a crown up to catch at least 3 with that ult. On the other side, they've got 4 ults coming online. Not too far away from Zeke's Graviton. That's what I'm looking forward to for HSL to get one decisive team fight win, turn things back around. But I'm looking towards Saab with that Transcendence as well. Last time round, Hidan died before he could use the Transcendence. Saab is going to be looking to try and avoid the same fate.
Progi pushing up hard, he's got the arm from the rally, stunned up, won't commit to the shadow just yet, he's been knocked up in the air. We'll only find 1 as the block comes out, but a Transcendence will keep the rest of the Bazooka Puppies happy and healthy as they're keeping HSL in this choke. They won't let him out. That's the turnaround from Progi, Hadan and Zeke to take out Cranks at the end. They've got control of the point. They're going to flip this one over with 94% on the clock. It's going to have to be scrappy from the Puppies.
Beautiful patience coming out of HSL as well. Didn't panic and use too many ults. They brought out the Graviton Surge. They layered the sound barrier on top to make sure they could push forward aggressively. It worked wonderfully for them. I'd be very surprised if that ult was going to get anything for them. Now, it's more a case of throwing bodies at the point. You can already see, though, there is also a sound destruct. Sound destruct?
Sound destruct is a new one.
Online for Tech36. They've got the resource there. Meanwhile, Crandop has an opportunity with an Earth Shatter here, but he's got to make it a big one. Overtime is ticking down. He
was hoping then that Crandop would turn around and show his back to him just to be shattered. He didn't. He held strong, was able to position it around.
Beautiful
Shatter blocked out. Crandop not getting any dividends for that investment. He tried to put in. Nice stun there, and the rotation from Progi will get the kill. 100%. We pretty much saw that coming after that last conclusive team fight.
Yeah, Puppies I feel your best bet is to roll out the gate with Goats, and if you have to adapt on that, say you come up against someone who's running a Widowmaker in that case, or Zen Anna, then you go back and change over to the Winston instead of the Rhine. Leading out the gate with that one, you're asking to get rolled over by teams that are more likely than not going to start off with Goats, as we saw of HSL. And that 40% at the very start, imagine if Puppies hadn't sacrificed that immediately, it could have been a very different story.
Absolutely, and starting things off, Crandrop looked at going over to that Winston, and thought, no, I'm going to stick on the Reinhardt, so they're not going to change the composition. HSL, however, they have multiple changes across the board.
Yeah, going for a pretty interesting setup here as well, where they're rolling out with the triple support, double tank, 1 DPS. That's what you tend to look for. The Sombra there is more for the disruption and the utility than anything else. She's, of course, not a huge fragger. It's not like a Genji or anything like that, or a Widowmaker. Going to be fighting quite close together, I still think, and you'll occasionally find the dive come through. In fact, no, there's the change. This is what we saw come out of Bazooka Puppiez at the start of last round. I would be surprised if they'd roll out with this, knowing they're coming up against Goats. There we go, they changed to match Goats themselves. This is what you'll find a lot happening this season, is teams constantly trying to mind game each other with comps. And at the end of the day, if they can't decide what to do, well, when in doubt, you Goats it out.
And you don't want to give over that excess ult charge by taking a fight you know you're going to lose, which is why they go back to the spawn before the point even unlocks. They're going to contest it, give up the control, but they're not giving up the ult charge, because this map type can be very snowbally, Des, and they don't want to start that ball rolling unless they absolutely have to. They're going to push on to the point, though. Shields are there to block all of the right clicks, swinging the hammer. Very low Reinhardt. Crandrop going to have to hide for a bit and get some healing behind it, but the Orb of Discord is just shredding through him. There's no Zarya barrel to take it off, so he has to move around. But Mete picked up Progi and got a D-Mech on the Tech 3-6 as they're still fighting around the fringes. But Bazooka Puppies will retain control of this first cap. Ashcroft from the side gets a boop on the Tech 3-6. It's track going down. Cave is going to take out the other Diva as well. That's nice to see those frags coming in, but Bazooka Puppies still maintaining that control.
It goes to show, even when it looked like Puppies were the ones being pushed back, Crandop's shield was broken. He was down to about 100 HP. Mete off to the side with the support of the Brigitte. They managed to get the D-Mech and bring down Progi at the same time. That's exactly what you want out of these kind of flanking members of your team. Yes, the front line might be falling down, but you have other members who can impact the same on the back line on the other side. Here comes the sound barrier, though, with the Graviton Surge on top.
They're shattered from behind from Progi as well. It's forcing out a Transcendence in a response, but they've already taken out Cranks. Tech 3-6 gets that D-Mech, and the rest of HSL going to move forward onto the point. It's Sardis leading the charge. He's also popped the rally. There's a little bit of overkill coming in, and the armor to top everyone up. But this is a one fight for HSL. They're going to start getting some percentage on that board.
And all those ults are still online for them as well. Didn't really have to burn a whole lot to get that done. Puppies have still got quite a few online themselves as well. But a beautiful combo layering together those ultimates. Yes, the sound barrier came out. They didn't care. Graviton Surge was through. Then immediately afterwards, they dropped down the Earth Shadow to try and cleanse out those members.
They committed double support ultimate to that fight on the Puppies. That's huge for HSL.
Absolutely. And making sure that's not online for this fight does mean the onus is on Puppies to go aggressive. And yes, they're playing on the aggressive side here. HSL, they've got both support ultimates online, so it's very much so a different set of ultimates for either side here. How did that not get eaten?
I have no idea. They pulled them all together, but now the support ultimates can come into play. Hidan coming out. The Shatter is going to land. Knocks over multiple members, but now they're pulled into a grab of their own as the self-destruct came over the top. Won't find any kills. Here's another support ultimate. Look at the impact these have in the fight. It's completely won for HSL, purely because they have the reservation and the patience to keep hold of those and turn the fight.
Beautiful from Zeke there. Literally the fight after that first one where he burnt the Graviton Surge followed by the Earth Shadow. He had it available incredibly quickly in this second fight. And even though that Shadow came down, before it connected, he got the Graviton Surge out, suspended the enemy members away from his team so they couldn't capitalize and dish out the damage to really follow through on that Earth Shadow and cleanse out the point and make sure they could hold it quite decisively. Puppies now have got to try again. This time they're going in dry. There are no ultimates on side.
Going to be moving around to the side. Got Lucio getting close to the sound barrier himself. Support ultimates, like I said, Bazooka Puppies are now going to have them. There's such a disparity in the ult charge rate. They're going to need to win a fight. Maybe fight through the defensive ultimates or keep hold of some of their own on the side of HSL. 72%, so they've overtaken Bazooka Puppies' progress. Transcendence coming out early for Saab to win this fight. Graviton Surge going to pull them together. Progi already finding Cranks. Self-destruct takes out Ashcroft. He wasn't close to his own ultimate, so it's not really that much of a problem. Charge coming out for Crandop, taking out Sardis. So they've got themselves a couple of kills on the board and forced HSL from the point. Here comes a charge with the protective barrier to keep the Reinhardt alive. And now they're sitting in a Transcendence from HSL as Zeke will get 2 kills to boot with that one. Track and Saab going down. Progi finish up onto Crandop. They have the advantage and they're able to keep hold of the point. 97%, make it 98, 99, and Brigitte on the point. Get her off and you're going to win as overtime begins to tick down. And Progi's hammer, it will be like the gavel on a courtroom bench. Case closed.
HSL got it pretty decisively there as well with the 2-0. Like I said, though, in that first round, that could have been a very different story if that initial 40% hadn't gone their way because of missed kind of starts at the comps. You saw on the other side immediately, they saw the 3-3, we're going 3-3. We have to match that because we can't win with the comp we've rolled out with. So good, quick adaptation coming out of HSL. Really nice flanks in that final fight as well, because you saw, even stood there, he was like, which way do I look here? They're all around me. And before you knew it, he was dead to a Reinhardt swinging down one way, a flail from Brigitte on the other side. What are you going to do?
They're fighting around the pillar in the center, though. That's why. If you can't have a perfect view of everything if you're playing from that angle, because it's a first-person game, right? Unless you're holding your shield, you maybe peek around the corner a little bit, but then you have that option to a flank, especially if you get attached to one side of the pillar. You're not going to be able to look anywhere else. That's exactly what you should be doing, though, not looking anywhere else. As we go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll bring you map number 2. Welcome back. We're going to jump into map number 2 very shortly. It's HSL who are in the lead, so ProgChamp, Get Wild is their hashtag. Is Get Wild?
Get Wild, theirs.
Yeah, yep. Of course, Get Wild.
We should change it to ProgChamp.
I like ProgChamp at this point, especially when they're against DogChamp. So, you know, I'm liking how I'm seeing from HSL. Fast, reactive play, especially with the compositional changes right at the beginning of the map. They're not too afraid to be able to get anything done and quickly change things up rather than fall victim to, like we said, the snowball that takes part on control. Moving on forward, Hollywood is our second stop on our world tour of contenders. We're going to be jumping onto that map very shortly, Des.
Absolutely. And we saw some interesting strats on this map last season, if you remember. I think we were calling it the trash compactor for the longest time. Basically where you just chuck everyone inside Cafe, you have a Junkrat in there saying, no, please don't come in here. I will blow you away if you come anywhere near me. And it was really hard for the attacking side to get anywhere near there. So I'm curious to see if we see similar strats being employed. There is an Orisa on side already, which suggests that we are going to see something very similar. And you're seeing a Junkrat and a Diva, so everything is ironing up pretty well.
What about the Sombra, Des?
I was about to say, the only thing you're seeing here, which we wouldn't have seen last season, is Zeke picking up that Sombra. And this is for the exact reason I mentioned earlier on, is that she fits into most comps. It's the utility that she brings. You have the tanks and the supports who can do a lot of the DPS work for you. It's about making sure that those who are potentially highly impactful, things like the Winston in this case, or even better, a Genji, you can hack them out.
People are looking at this and going, oh my god, Europe has stopped playing tanks. This is amazing. And Bazooka Puppies are coming out with what's looking like a full dive composition, Des.
It's interesting with the Ana being board in there as well, relying a lot on the Nano Blade, I think, onto the Genji to make it work. The thing you're missing here is the Discord Orb out of the Zen, which has always been a key component of dive because it enables you to drop that Discord on the big target, everyone dives in and they die. That's what they're lacking right now is damage, but admittedly you're trying to go through a Diva and an Orisa shield. Good luck.
They actually slept someone on the back line but couldn't get the kill. Tech36 going to find Crandop, so already the dive's been pushed back on that first offensive. Still there's some stragglers on Bazooka Puppies just harassing from all angles, and they're trying to clean out the insurgents that have taken up position all around the defensive hold that HSL have set up for themselves.
Trying to catch Track, it just seems like a bit of an impossible task there. Literally chasing him all around the back, and he was just like, no, I'm gone, bye.
If you have a pest, what do you do?
Look where he is.
Des, if you have a pest, what do? You lay down a trap, and that's exactly what Sardis has done. Bear trap at the door, hopefully we'll catch him, and he's still lingering around the back as the dive comes in. Tech36 again, finding Crandop. Can't break through this defense as Sardis finally shuts down Track. I'd like to think he stepped on the track to make that happen. Tech36 going in again. Zeke getting the D-Mech onto Meta. He's been exposed. It's going to be an easy kill for someone. Track now changing it up, going onto a Sombra of his own, but there's so much advantage given over to HSL because they've started to build those ults.
That was a really miscoordinated dive there because Crandop was in Cafe with the shield down before Meta had barely taken off the ground, so you tried solo diving as a Winston. Guess what? You're not going to last very long, especially when you're diving headfirst into the Junkrat, who can drop about 300 damage on you like that. It's not a fun time to be a Winston player when you're solo like that. So I'd like to see Bazooka Puppies tighten it up a little bit here, think about what else you can do. I think they're relying on They were relying on Crunks to get his ultimate online, but now they're going to try and see what they can do with this instead.
Counter EMP coming out from Zeke. I think the wind was taken out of the sails of that dive the second that Cranks went down. And, you know, the EMP just really seals the deal on that one. I'm interested to hear if people actually heard your finger snap, by the way, through the mic.
Most likely.
Most likely you heard it. Pretty snappy, gotta say that. Sardis has now got a Riptire. Ults across the board for HSL, apart from the EMP we just saw being used from Zeke. Comfortable play from HSL. They do not look flustered at all. They look like they're playing their game, and Bazooka Puppies can't really break it at this point.
Watch where the dive comes from here. You can see Meta, you can see Crandop just off the left here as well. I need to see them dive in sync. Again, Mete's not up there with him, but he does have the boost on with him. He's still going to go down pretty quickly. Everyone's up there with him. Out comes the ult, and the double kill onto the backline out of Sardis. That's enough to wrap up this fight.
Double kill on the Riptire. It's fair enough. A hack on the crown drop. He managed to get the ult up just before that hack came through, so he will be kept alive with that extended HP pool. Crank's taking out the supercharger. Sardis picking up a double concussion mind kill as the self-destruct from Mete. It's going to move Hadan. Crandop doesn't get the kill. Still, defensive hold being maintained by HSL. I'm pretty sure they can get the reinforcements in time. One thing to note from that fight, Des, as well, Tech36 used that self-destruct defensively. He sent it into the cafe to deter the aggression. There's one bomb for another Riptire.
Nice.
Track and cave. That's unfortunate for you fellows. We now have 6-4 in this fight.
That was a replay, by the way.
Was it a replay?
Yeah.
I wish it was live. I wished it was live.
It was. You made it sound like it was live with how excited you were, so I'll give you that one. But Bazooka Puppies are starting to capitalize here. Tech36 is gone, but the hack is immediately out of Zeke.
Sardis going to begin with a concussion mine on the crown drop, so he's died yet again. This Hidan's going to clean up Cranks and Progi. This defensive hold with 30 seconds left to go. Haven't even got that tick on the board yet. It's not looking good for the Bazooka Puppies and HSL Esports. If they can maintain this and get that full hold in, they're going into the half with a 2-0 up. I guarantee you they'll be able to get that win.
I think this has been probably one of the messiest attacks onto First Point Hollywood I've ever seen. Like, Bazooka Puppies have been throwing members in different directions. Mete's going left while Crandop's going up. That's not how you play dive. It's why you have the Discord come down, all the members jump into one, and I get Mete is trying to keep other members quiet, but Crandop has shown 4 or 5 times now he can't do it alone. Let's see if they can now with that sound barrier on side.
Lots of ults on the side of Bazooka Puppies. Here comes the Nano Boost, Nano Blade into Sardis. He's going to be chopped up nicely. Transcendence to deter all the damage, but they've left alone Niana. You're going to have to come back, give that healing, deterring him off. The Fleck can only last so long. While this is going on, Tech36 has been on cleanup duty as Adar picks up a triple, a quad for the Madman on the Zenyatta.
Jesus.
And there's not that many people left to fight it. Overtime ticks down. That's a full hold for HSL.
Beautiful pick out of Tech36 at the very start of that fight. Track on the Sombra was their win condition. If he got that hack down, Blade came out, no one could defend themselves, they would lose. But Track died at the very start with that ultimate still online. The Blade came out came the Transcendence. The damage coming from it was extremely minimal. Really well played, but who is this Hidan guy? He's popping heads.
He's been, according to Legday, he's been a bit of a veteran, and if you just look at his history, he's on that old Misfits roster that went through in one Open division, or one Open on that first,
it was earlier 2016, I think it was, yeah.
Well, he's definitely been around for a long time, and like I said, there was questions raised about why he wasn't one of the ones who ascended to OWL, but he's starting to make a case for himself on this HSL roster.
Probably the scariest thing in that was seeing him get 4 kills that quickly in the kill feed as a Zen. If it was someone like...
Yeah, final blows, Des.
Yeah, all right, final blows, call it that, yeah. But one of those with a headshot, 3 was body shots, I think. So members were low when he went for those kills, but it's still impressive to see a Zen getting that many kills or final blows, as you say, coming through.
He actually scared me, though, because I believe it was Ashkoff was playing the Ana at the time, and he left the Transcendence. He moved a little bit too far forward, and Ashkoff was exposed to the Nano Genji at the back, so he had to kind of like sweep back around with a 180 and keep himself alive. Bazooka Puppiez going on a defensive hold. Going to be having the McCree come out here for track.
This is a more standard setup, minus the McCree, maybe, where you have the Mercy on side. Sorry, that res on the first point, just really useful. If you do find a dive comes through and brings down your Junkrat, immediately the res is there and ready. Saab, as always, playing on that the Zenyatta, sorry, Mete on the Diva. We saw him have a pretty good game on Ilios, getting those flanks off in that initial fight that came through on Lighthouse, got them the first point. But it needs to be consistent. We've got to see him come out the gate strong here as well and close. Well, come out the gate strong and defend against those actually coming out of the gates quite literally.
Yeah, so he fired out a scouting arrow, Sardis on the Hanzo just to see what he could find. And he's turning over to the Brigitte. So they're running a conventional GOATS composition. Apart from they got Progi on that Winston. So they want an element of the dive there. I think they might change it up again, though, because they're staggering around the spawn.
I think they are sending a couple of members back. They've done the scouting, just waiting for 1 or 2 members to come running out. Or maybe. They can't decide what they're going to do here. They're changing up 1 or 2 things by the looks of it, but they're not 100% sure. There we go.
There you go.
The Moira coming out is quite an interesting one then.
Yeah, it's going to be changed over to the Moira, so I think they just want that more impactful healing rather than going for the damage and having the Zenyatta to go for the head-to-head with the GOATS position,
It's
right?
because, yeah, the problem is you've got the Orisa shield there. It's hard to get the discourse down to key targets, so you may as well take that extra burst healing to ensure you can do this, which is fighting on the point. The Orisa's already going down here. If she dies, they lose their shield potential.
They didn't even touch the point, Des! Like, what are you talking about? They dropped down, got forced into the bottom floor of the cafe, and they can't touch. That was a double level dive coming out for them. So you had both the tanks on the ground floor, keeping the tanks in the bottom floor of the cafe, and then you had the aggressors at top, making sure they couldn't drop down from the balcony area, and they just effectively, what else? Well, Des, first series, we get our first C9 of Contenders Europe.
I don't buy that you couldn't have sent your Diva onto the point there to at least contest.
She was body blocked. She was downstairs.
You press
with
shift
the Orisa.
and you go. Like, it's easy.
Just press shift, lol.
Just press shift forehead, exactly. But they didn't do it, and, well, it is what it is, right? Bazooka Puppiez down 2-0. There's not much more to say.
2-0 for the, well, I was going to say 2-0 for HSL. We're going to be going over to the analyst desk to see what they thought about that game in its entirety.